Hi, my name's Mr. Wald. I'm going to talk to you today about one of the questions I'm asked most often, which is, what is psychology? What is it all about? So first of all, I thought I'd give you a little overview. Some of the things that psychology is interested in learning is whether our behavior is genetic or is it learned, how those around us influence our behavior, why do we forget things, what is abnormal behavior, and how does the brain itself work? One of the problems that we come across is that we know what goes into the brain and we know what comes out of the brain, but we can't see directly into it to figure out what's going on. So we have to guess and we have to make inferences about what the brain is actually doing. The first thing that we talk about in psychology is learning how to actually research on people. What are the safe ways of going about getting information from people? We look at the psychological approaches. There are 6 approaches in psychology. In science, you have 3, biology, chemistry, and physics. In psychology, there are 6, each one interested in different things and doing that in a different way. We look at what the brain itself is made up of and how information gets around the body. We look at memory specifically. Why is it that you don't forget how to ride a bike, yet you can't remember what you had for dinner last Thursday? We look at the influence of others around us. A lot of this came out of the Second World War, looking at how Nazis could have been told to do things and not complained and not decided they were going to rebel. A lot of that research was quite influential in our understanding of how we obey or disobey authority. We look at psychopathology, which is the study of mental illness. 3 illnesses in particular. We look at phobias, depression, and OCD, what causes them potentially, and how they're treated. At A2, we look at all of those things in slightly more depth. Plus, we have 3 optional units. Now, these will be chosen ahead of time by each school. Our units are gender, schizophrenia, and forensics. Gender is all about the concept of maleness and femaleness and the fluidity with that. Schizophrenia is another mental health disorder in which people see things that aren't necessarily there, hear things which aren't there, and trying to figure out what could be the cause and what are potential treatments. Forensics is using psychology to try and solve crime, trying to look for commonalities in behavior and behavior in everyday life that could be seen in the individual that perpetrated that crime. Lots of people ask what's the difference between psychology and sociology. Sociology is much more at the societal level, looking for trends and patterns in society's behavior. Psychology is trying to look more at individuals and try and find patterns of behavior within individuals. Here are some questions that we very often get asked. Grade requirements, no different to that of entering the school. No specific subject doesn't go well with psychology. Psychology is classed as a science by universities, so if you know you want to do a specific course and ask for 2 science subjects, psychology does meet that grade requirement. Yes, you can study both psychology and sociology alongside each other. There's no problem with that. There is no coursework in psychology. It is 100% exam. There is maths involved. It is no more difficult than what you would have come across at GCSE, but we do go over it with you. And if you've not studied psychology at GCSE, that's absolutely fine. The vast majority of our students haven't. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I will meet you all in September.